had just moved into my childhood home, an old brick house my parents had passed down to me. It was nestled at the edge of a massive, dense forest, our property bordering the woods on two sides. The house was the only one like it in the area, standing out with its aged brick and history of renovations. I had always loved the wilderness, but I was about to learn that some things in the woods are best left undiscovered. It was a quiet winter morning, the sun just beginning to rise, when I stepped outside to head to town for coffee. That's when I saw them, a single trail of footprints in the snow, leading straight from the woods to my truck's driver's side door. My first thought was that my fiancé had come outside before me, but the more I examined them, the more I realized something was wrong. The footprints didn't come from our house, they came from the forest. And after reaching my truck, they turned around and disappeared back into the trees. 2 years later, I woke up one morning and stepped outside, only to feel a deep chill, not from the cold, but from what I saw. The entire yard was covered in footprints. They weren't just near my truck this time. They circled the house, stopping beneath every single window. Some prints wandered toward the shed, where I later realized tools were missing. My fiancé was terrified. But what scared me most was the fact that there were no shoe imprints. Whoever had been watching us was barefoot in the snow. Determined to get answers, I grabbed my rifle and followed the footprints into the woods. The deeper I went, the more the footprints became erratic, splitting into different paths as if whoever made them was trying to confuse me. I felt eyes on me, a presence just beyond my sight. The forest, which was usually filled with sounds of birds and rustling leaves, was unnaturally silent. I turned back before nightfall, but the unease never left me. I wasn't alone this time. My friend Theo, a skilled hunter, had come with his thermal scope. After hours of following a fresh trail, he froze and raised his rifle. I looked through his scope and saw them. 4 figures, naked and hunched over something in the snow. The 2 smaller ones clung to a nearby tree, their heads twitching unnaturally as they scanned the woods. The larger figures fed on something, their bodies gaunt, their movements wild. Theo and I didn't breathe. As I neared the end of the trail, exhausted and paranoid, something moved in my flashlight beam. A figure stepped out from behind a tree. Naked. Hair covered. Eyes gleaming. He was wearing my missing shorts. His body was thin, scarred, and covered in dirt. He took a step toward me. My hands shook. I fired a warning shot. He screamed, not in pain, but in some twisted rage, and fled into the darkness of the forest. That night, they came for us. My fiancé woke up screaming. The camper door handle jiggled. Then it was flung open. A gaunt man lunged inside with a knife, slashing at me. My rifle was just out of reach. Before I could react, Theo tackled him. The second figure in the dark retreated, disappearing back into the woods. We called the police. But by the time they arrived, the footprints had vanished under fresh snowfall.